Wow. So tell me.
I feel like as soon as you say Mother's Day, people are just going to hit the stop. Like, boring. What do you think about when you think Mother's Day?
Vaginas.
Seriously?
No, I was just
That's
trying to
way
be
more
shocking,
exciting
trying
than
to shake up this podcast.
Hey, welcome to Merriment, where a couple of new parents invite you into their personal conversations for some insights into life from their perspective. I'm Carly, one half of the conversation, and Johnny Jansen is the other half. This week we're talking Mother's Day from our recently new standpoint, appreciating our moms more and sorting through whether parental roles are equally divided in our household and the modern day household in general. Also, I share a song I wrote for my mom one Mother's Day that gave me a profound experience in my first day of being a mom. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate your presence in this conversation. Come on in and join the merriment. Yeah, okay.
And we're live. Here we are.
We have a time constraint now.
Well, probably like 3 hours.
Oh, really? That's how long the battery would last for?
Yeah. The battery's having my laptop plugged in. This is so boring to open up the podcast with.
We were in the middle of a conversation when you all of a sudden hit record.
Yeah, I'm just trying to throw ourselves into it, right? I don't want to jinx it. But the power cord into the laptop was causing a buzz.
So it's not plugged in anymore.
It's not plugged in. The laptop is not being plugged
but
in.
I was just saying that we need to kind of rededicate ourselves to having fun. Like, this is the point of this, is just that we're going to enjoy each other's company and make merriment and celebrate.
Yeah. Okay.
Cheers.
I'll cheers to that for sure.
We had to choose between drinks. I like mine. This is a good one. Yeah. We only had so much whiskey and gin left, so
I would say in the future, I probably would have rather just had a soda water with gin instead of this stevia ginger ale.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not into it. Johnny's review is nilch.
Not into it.
Nilch?
But
Zilch?
Zilch. I just like to taste my gin. I don't need it to be, cut with any sugar or fake sugar.
Right. You don't need the sweetness.
Yeah, because I find gin...
You're sweet enough already.
Oh, that's so sweet. Sweet thing to say.
I really love to hear that you and Forrest had such a good time alone tonight.
We had a great time today.
That's great.
It was absolutely wonderful.
Right before this podcast, I was like out for dinner with a friend, and you just had him the whole time. And you even put him down for bed, which actually I was thinking to myself, we've gotten here now. We're actually at this point now. That's amazing. And
it was easy, and it wasn't scary, and I would do it again. I would do it all the time. And you know what? I haven't really been scared of it to begin with. There was a time, but I can't remember the last time I had a really hard time to putting him down by myself. We had a great time. We walked to the park, played around, just goofed a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, just bath time was easy. We just played around a little bit.
It's so funny. I'm torn about this because when I come home and you've had a great time, I'm like, yes, awesome, no guilt. Then you're like, it was easy. And I'm like, what? Easy? That doesn't make me feel very good.
Why not?
Most of the time, it's not easy for me.
Oh.
But you know what? I have to remind myself, I see the way he is around Cassie, his nanny and his auntie, when I'm not around.
Right.
He is easy when I'm not around.
Yeah.
So, but as soon as I'm around, I mean, it's not like he's always whining and he's always cranky, but he finds a lot more things to be upset about when I'm around.
That's true.
Or he loses his temper more quickly. Yeah. He, when he's tired, he just like loses his cool before bed at a way greater scale than when I'm not around.
It's the milk. That's what it is. He knows he can extract a resource from you. And so
I would like to chalk it up to a little bit more than just like this liquid that comes out of my boobs, but I'm pretty sure it has probably more to do with like a psychological bond that he has with me where he can be totally safe and he can be like his most vulnerable self around me. And mommy pretty much takes care of everything always and is super, super perceptive to him. So when you have somebody around you that's perceptive all the time, I feel like you are going to then ask yourself what you need.
Right.
If you like, this person's always wondering what it is I need, so I'm just going to like think harder about what it is I need. And then you find things to need.
Yeah, I guess so. But then when you're not around, it's just me. It's just Daddy-O. He's just like...
Not perceptive, but he sure loves him and he's lots of fun.
Yeah, and he's just like, okay, I'll snuggle with you on the swing. Although I'm pretty good.
You are.
I'm pretty perceptive. Whoa, pump the brakes here.
You are. No, you absolutely...
Quite
perspective.
I'm quite perspective on this one. No, but I am. Like, we had a great time. Like, in the bath, he's kind of had a traumatic bathing history or the last few weeks. And it's been something happened. He fell down in the bath a few times. Now it's like, even when we went into the bathroom, while I was filling it up, he was like crying, like crying.
Really scared.
And he was like backed like as far away from the bathtub as possible. Like he's just like had his, like, he was
So
pushed
how did you
against the
handle it?
wall. I just put him in the water and was just like, look, this is fun.
What?
Yeah.
That's not, you said you were a bit more perceptive than that.
Yeah, no, but it was just like, put him in the water and I was just like, look at play with this. Just like, here, buddy. And I was just like tender with him. And then he's like, okay. Nice. And then he didn't want to go out. He's just like having a good time.
Yeah, once you kind of like help him ease into those things.
Yeah, just distract him a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah, it's tricky when you've got a kid that's like really afraid of something, when they just start to develop these irrational fears. And you're like, how do I, like there was the bath, and there was something else that he was really scared of.
Oh, what was it?
Well, you remember that, right? It was like he was terrified, freaking out, scared. Wind. That's what it was. He's freaked, just losing his mind about the wind.
It might not have been. It might have been just that one time. I don't know. I haven't been around that intense wind since. Neither has
He
Forrest.
cried in the car once when the windows were open.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and windows. Wind is in the name windows, in the word windows.
Johnny, see, you are perceptive.
I'm pretty perceptive. I never thought about that. That windows has like wind in it.
I wonder if that was on purpose.
Windows.
The wind comes through this.
Oh, wind. Oh, we love you, wind. Yeah, that's what. Wind. Yeah, backwards. That's so funny. I'm so
You're so perspective, Johnny.
I have great perspective.
So speaking of perspective, I got excellent perspective today from a close friend of mine about one of our podcasts. That we should not do again. Can you guess which one we should never do again?
The last one?
No.
Which one?
What podcast what episode has been unlike all of the others?
The tribe one?
No.
I don't know.
The one where we didn't record it any time recently whatsoever. It was the phone call from when we were...
Oh, and that was bad?
Yeah. She said at first she was like, I loved it in concept. What it was is when I was working at the radio station, Johnny would call me all the time.
Right. I didn't even listen to this podcast.
No, you didn't. You didn't listen to it. So we were going on vacation. Johnny was going to Vietnam and I was going to Alberta with our son, separate vacations.
Right.
And so since we weren't going to be together, we thought, well, let's just take one of these phone calls, because I've recorded all of the calls that came to the radio station and I saved a lot of the calls that Johnny and I had. So I sifted through all of these calls and I decided to take this one long half-hour conversation from when I worked at the radio station. We were like 4 months into dating, and share it on the podcast instead of us recording one here. It was like a throwback.
Right.
You know? Anyway, she said in concept, it was great. But after about like 10 minutes of listening, she's like, why am I just listening to them have a phone conversation? Like I could just call them up and hang out with them. She said we were kind of just talking about nothing.
Well, that's kind of what we're doing right now. That's kind of like all of our podcasts.
You know what? I feel like yes, that's probably
that's what
true.
we are literally right now talking about a previous podcast. We're talking about a phone call that we had.
Yeah.
So that's this. You could arguably say that about everything.
You know what, Johnny, you're absolutely right. You should stop listening right now. There's no point to this conversation.
Just unsubscribe.
There is a point to this conversation today.
Okay,
actually.
what is it?
Well, I want to talk about Mother's Day at a certain
Okay.
point, and a new perspective of Mother's Day since becoming a mom from a person that has happened to.
Right.
But I do think there's a difference between that phone conversation and this, though, is because we actually are talking with the purpose of people listening. Whereas before, we were super cringy, just like, oh, I love you so much, baby, because we were living far apart from each other.
Right.
And we were having a phone conversation that we didn't think anybody was going to listen
to. And if I'm going to be honest, I don't really want to listen to it. I haven't listened to it.
Well, it's pretty obvious you don't want to listen to it.
I don't.
I think you know what? I'm getting this sneaking suspicion that you don't want to listen to it.
Well, that's because I just said I didn't want to listen to it. So
you know what? I'm
on to you.
I'm on to you now.
You're on to me.
Okay. I'm not offended. Just stings a little.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
It was an old conversation. It sting for me. It's like I have a problem looking into the past. That's why I don't go through old photos. That's why I don't really...
You don't like looking at the past.
No, I'm not a fan. And that's maybe why I'm not a fan of this whole social media buzz. It's like I was on the SkyTrain. I mean, I'm totally a
What
hypocrite.
social media buzz are you talking about?
Just in the world. This like
This social media buzz. That's extremely broad.
Yeah, it's more of like a zap. In just how everybody's so obsessed with just preserving things, taking photos so they can look back to it. Like I was riding my bike through Stanley Park and everybody's just taking photos of everything. And I'm like, I've totally been there. Like I filmed Forest for a while today. But I've never really looked at the stuff after.
Oh, come on. Didn't you remember we were watching that one video over and over again together? Forrest stuck his finger in his nose and was...
Oh, that's true. Maybe our son is a different story. But just like statues or like so many of the photos we took on our trips, I've never
We
really
have those
looked
on
at.
a rotating thing on our Chromecast, which you just said you were so happy that we have all of these photos rotating regularly.
You're just totally contradicting everything I'm saying. You're calling me out.
You're contradicting yourself.
Maybe I am. Yeah.
You do that with a lot of things, though, to be honest.
Ooh.
Like you say, I don't like things. I don't like things.
Oh.
You know, like don't get me things, but then you come up with great ideas for gifts to get you.
Let me try to unpack this, though. Let me try to unpack this because I feel like there is some truth in it. Because, yeah, I do like looking back at things, but most of the time I don't post on social media. That's true.
I think that you don't like the concept of it. The actual practice of it, maybe you do enjoy. But because on principle, you don't like the concept of it. You think the concept of it is a waste of time.
Right.
And so because philosophically you don't agree with it, then you don't do it. But I think in practice, maybe you would actually enjoy it more. And you do, apparently, because you like seeing our pictures come up on our screen.
Yeah. Maybe it's just more of like the whole world. Like whenever I get a reminder from Facebook that's like, oh, remember this from 10 years ago? I cringe every single time.
I know.
It says that.
I relate to you.
Yeah.
In
And I don't know. And I don't have the urge to post anything. Like we had that video that we watched the other day and it's just like, we should post that. But I'm like, I'm not into it. Maybe it's fine looking into the past. I'm trying to unpack it because you're right. I did contradict myself, but there is some truth I'm trying to hold on to here. And I think it's more along the lines of just so much of us are just doing things in retrospect. Like we're just looking in the past. We're looking at other events that people were doing and people. Also, I had a weird experience. One of those experiences on the SkyTrain today where I was just looking around and everybody's just on their phone scrolling Instagram.
Yeah, that's the part that really creeps me the F out.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's normal. It's become super normal, but it's just like everybody's catching up on what everybody else did. And I was like, I don't know. It is
disturbing. Actually, I watched a YouTube video recently. It was an animated. This is ironic because I was looking at this on my phone, but it was this animated short, like this dramatic short, almost like a music video because there was no like audio or anything to it. It was just music of this baby exploring the world and finding nothing but people staring at their phones, walking into manhole, person after person after person, people like walking over cliffs, like it is the caricature basically of society right now, like women getting giant Botox lips and huge butt implants and just all the stuff that this baby is seeing. And this baby's trying to like pull the phones out of people's hands and get everyone's attention. It sounds funny, but the music that they put it to and the fact that the baby's like crying while it's trying to do it and just like desperately trying to get everyone's attention and just looking around with like a sense of horror. And it's an absolute caricature of society right now, but it does kind of reflect a feeling that I've had before, that feeling on the bus, looking around and just being like, this is where we are now. This is what society does now. Yeah. We just sit, and this is in all corners of the world, maybe not all, maybe not like Amazonian tribes, but in Cambodia everyone has smartphones and they probably spend a lot less time on them, but they have them. And
I don't know, we don't know that everywhere. For sure,
but this is where we are now, where people are looking at screens all the time. And so when we're talking about the concept of using social media, and there's a lot of value that we find in these things, and so many people can defend it in so many ways, it actually brings a lot of communities together. That's valuable for a lot of people. Yeah. But there's still that creepy ass factor that everybody's sitting looking at their phones on the bus.
Yeah.
and nobody's talking to each other.
Yeah, and it's hard to say because like big part of my job is to create content for those people to watch and get into. I don't know. I'm kind of now that we're talking about it and you called me out for contradicting myself, I'm just gonna remain agnostic about the whole thing. I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, it's hard to have.
I just don't feel like I have a right to have an opinion. Because you're right, it's just like I do find benefit into it. I just have my own personal hang-ups from it, and that's like from. Yeah, I don't know. It could be because of my. This is actually the truth. It's based on my job as a community manager for Disney, and I was backstory. I was a character on a game called Club Penguin. I made myself famous, and I was known as like a employee at this company. And when you're a part of this virtual world, any known staff member online is just like the kids go nuts for it. And so I worked my way up to community manager online community videographer was my official title for this game called Club Penguin. And we were trying to just do the first like few moves on social media that the company ever did because they were scared to. So we did it kind of like secretively at first with these like unofficial channels. And then, once we saw that there was a lot of potential on social media, we picked it up a lot. And so this is kind of the point I was making, or I'm getting at, is I was a character called Business Moose, and I created a social media account as Business Moose with like my character in the thumbnail. So I was kind of like a mascot, but I wasn't, because I was more of like, no, I work at this company and my alias is, and so that's good because we're teaching kids to have an alias on the internet, but there's a lot of laws. So I was technically kind of breaking the law because I was a character, and you're not allowed to brands aren't allowed to market to children as a character. That's why you don't see like SpongeBob as SpongeBob talking to kids. Like that's super illegal. And so I was on Twitter and I created an account, and kids found out, and I quickly in a few months got like 10,000 followers really fast. But then Disney Legal got wind of it and just completely shut it down. And then from then on out, I had to get every single tweet ever I said on any of my channels, including my personal ones, approved by Disney lawyers. And so now and that was like my first experience on Twitter. And I was also doing stuff on Facebook, and I was doing most of my activity on social media was as like a community manager or working for Disney. And so now I just like, I feel that
your whole social media relationship is tainted.
Super tainted.
You've got baggage.
Yeah, I got baggage. And it's like, now whenever I go on, I just like, I second guess everything I say. And I guess I've been chalking it up to like, oh, I'm just anti-social media, or I don't like to look in the past. It could be that. It could be that's the reason why I don't like to do that.
Makes
and
so much sense.
I don't get any joy out of social media. I lurk sometimes.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like if you didn't have that experience, you'd actually be you'd probably find social media to be a really fun, quirky way of expressing yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's really fluid and really free, and especially some things like Snapchat are they just disappear, and
I still don't get that. I still don't get Snapchat. I've tried using it a few times, but it hasn't stuck. It hasn't. I guess the dopamine hits aren't getting to me properly. I'm not catching on to that addictive quality of it.
Right. The thing with Snapchat is that it's not so much to a big audience. It's not like you're getting thousands of followers on Twitter or something. It's to people that you know. Right. It's like to your specific, like for me, I've got a siblings group, Siblings for Life. Right. And we just post things to each other, and it's kind of a way of keeping people involved in your life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice, but I don't care. I just don't care to do that stuff. I can't be bothered. I'd like to, and it's weird. Anytime I do a post on Facebook, the response is big, and I get a lot out of it as far as like, reaching out to people seeing maybe what I've been up to and communicating, but I don't know. It's just I have to work myself up to posting anything. It's just like, ugh.
Well, I have to say there is something like the way that we've changed as a society with social media is really vast, because our idea of how we express ourselves now is always with an audience in mind. We were never like that 10 years ago. Not even close.
Yeah.
We
MySpace.
never had, everyone has a soapbox now. Everyone has a place to like show themselves to the world. We did not have anything like that. MySpace, yes, maybe. And it was like, it felt very eventful and also just like not as integrated into our lives.
Yeah,
like
it was still
kind
a
of way.
small group. It was like it felt more local. Isn't that weird? Like MySpace. But then again, like I connected with a lot of bands that way. Mm-hmm. It was good for that. And then you had your top 10 friends and you totally used that to manipulate your social circle.
Yeah.
I just remember how many people I was in the top 10 of and feel like I knew the list. I knew everybody that I was in the
so
top
funny. 10.
That was a brilliant thing. I missed that. I remember when everybody moved over to Facebook, I was like, okay, where's the top 10?
Right.
Am I in the top 10? I was like, what? They don't have it. I was really bummed. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Social media has taken such an interesting turn now. Like it was really eventful back then, but now it's just, it's woven into the fiber of our society now.
It is. Yeah, it is everything. I don't think we'll ever get away from it. Even though like with all the scandal with Cambridge Analytica or all that kind of stuff where our information is being sold to and used by
political
for
campaigns.
Like, yeah. So
that's creepy.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it's just so bizarre to realize. I think for me it helps to remember that this isn't like how we have been as human beings up until 10 years ago. We were not constantly showing ourselves to the world like this, and that's messing with our heads. It really is. And I think that's why when we're in situations where we're like, I don't know how to share, I don't feel like sharing, it's because you don't feel like broadcasting to the world all the time. And that's probably pretty normal for a human,
right?
For a human experience to not always feel the need to broadcast to a big audience.
I like to broadcast to a little audience, like a room, 4 or 5 people.
Sure.
I think that's fun.
Well, go do some open mic comedy.
No, just at work, anonymous.
Oh, there you go.
It was fun. Today I was dressed up as a magician around work. It was great. I was doing magic tricks, bad magic
fun.
Tricks.
You really play
great.
well off of a 4 or 5 person audience.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah, it's great.
Those are my favorite, actually.
Yeah,
I much
4 or 5.
I much prefer live people to social media people. Actually, that's another thing I was thinking about recently. Texting as opposed to talking on the phone is second best, but in person is the best way to remember why you like a person, why you want to hang out with them, and why you want to make an effort.
Yeah.
Because texting is just words in a phone. It's really hard. Most people don't actually express themselves in a very distinct way from each other. So You're just talking to words coming into your phone and making plans with people this way. And you almost you just forget why you really enjoy people.
I'm not a good texter. I purposely botch texts like as I'm writing them because I'm like halfway ththrough. I'm like, I don't want to write this. I hate writing this.
You're like, how do I make this end now?
I like to call people, but nobody, not very many people answer my phone calls because it's just like.
I just not answered a phone call.
Yeah, you just did. Wow.
I mean, we're in the middle of a podcast.
Did you text her?
You know what? Next time she
Put
calls me,
speaker.
I'll answer.
We'll include her.
It was Nanny Auntie Cassie.
Right.
Maybe now she'll listen to our podcast because we talked about her.
Right. So we're having a cleaning person coming tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm excited about this.
We are living the high life. We are paying people to clean our house now.
It really
does. Can you
does.
imagine that? We are like so hoity-toity. Is
Here's
that
the
what
thing.
it is?
That's what it feels like. But I read a really interesting article about this a few months ago now about how there were all of these people surveyed saying if they could afford to spend like X amount of dollars a month on cleaning services, how much easier that would make their life.
Yeah.
And these people rated it so high. And yet when they actually got them to look at their finances to allocate that money, they could, but they wouldn't. Huh. And it was because of that feeling of feeling guilty, like they should be able to do it. Yeah. It's just the guilt factor. And so finally I'm like, you know what? Guilt schmelt, my floors are filthy. We need somebody to come and mop our floor.
Yeah. Oh, and just like it's like tidying's fine. It's just those deep cleans that are just like the last thing we want to do when we have a weekend.
Oh yeah.
The last thing we want to do is just do a deep clean. I know it's necessary. I know yada yada. You know, it's everybody
just
has
hard
to
when
do
you
it.
have-
Blah blah. But we're gonna pay university students through an app to do it for us, and we're gonna give them an income. Okay.
Exactly. We are
Yeah.
actually employing other people to be doing something that they can get really good at and feel proud of. And I don't want to do it. So,
Yeah,
you
we don't
know,
wanna do
share
it.
share the load.
Share the load. So that's us now.
But here's the thing: is
we're
you got to clean.
hoity-toities.
Do you clean before the cleaning person comes?
No, tidy.
Same thing,
Is it?
kind of.
They're very different.
Oh my gosh! Listen,
What is
Willow
that?
was desperately scratching to get into the house.
I
if she's-
thought she was
desperate.
barfing. I thought she was puking.
No, she's just at the door. I should go let her in because
We'll
it's
go
driving
let
me
her in.
nuts.
Okay. And I will just ramble.
No, don't. Oh, okay. Do what you want.
See, that's what. She's the boss of me, but she's not the boss of me. I'm the boss of me. Me, Johnny A. Jansen. I am the boss of my own life.
What? No. I'm the boss of this podcast.
But Carly just said, no, she's the boss of my life. And
Of
I
this
say,
podcast.
nobody's
That's all.
the boss of me. Nobody can control me. I am a free bird.
I got your toe.
Free as a spirit.
Now I control you. I got your toe.
You can't control me.
I got
See?
your toe. Oh.
I'm letting
Come on,
you take
play
I
along.
like it. I am playing along. You're the one who's not playing along.
You're right. And I'm going to drink your drink.
Go for it. It's good. Do you like yours better?
You know, it's like an X and a Y.
X and a Y. Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else we got? What else do we got down the pike?
Well,
Pike?
you know what?
Is it pipe?
Pipe.
What's,
Coming down
what's
the pipe.
pike?
Pike? It's a type of fish.
Is it? No. Really? Is it not down the pike?
It's down the pipe. Oh, I love this. We have
What's
one of these
coming
every...
down the pike?
There is no coming down the pike.
I'm going to do a Google search this.
Okay.
Coming down the pike.
There really is. I don't think it's...
Oh my gosh, I was right.
What?
Coming down the pike, not coming down the pipe.
What?
What? Oh my gosh, I'm so happy about this. I just
Wow,
felt
this
like
is
an
actually
idiot for
like
a
there are a
second.
whole bunch
Can
of
you read
things.
this?
The idiom meaning soon to happen or appear was originally coming down the pike, not coming down the pipe, but both forms are now wisely used and understood.
We're both right.
Wow.
Amazing.
Johnny, I'm really impressed that you knew like the old version, the original version of this saying.
Yeah.
Huh.
Can you
Kudos.
believe it? Can you believe it?
Johnny, this is finally
time.
turned around because normally this just happens every podcast where you say something.
I know, and I'm just like, I finally won. I feel
You won at
smart.
life. You're winning. You're winning
I
at
feel
life.
Smart. I am so smart. So now, what's coming down the pike? What is a pike? What is a pike? I don't see. I know the saying, but I don't know.
Right.
What a
Are
pike
you going to
is.
Google that now? Because
No.
I know pike is a fish, but I think maybe they're referring to something
You
else.
think pike is a fish for sure?
Yeah.
Are you not thinking like a perch?
Pike. No, pike is a type of perch. There's no perch fish.
There is perch.
There's a perch fish?
Yeah.
Oh, of course you would know. You work at a friggin' aquarium.
Northern pike.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I knew it. It's
Pike
huge.
is a weapon.
What? Oh, what?
Pike's Rentals. Pike Jeffrey
this
M.
is-
Doctor.
This is really exciting.
This is the most exciting podcast. How can we make this podcast more exciting?
We're
going
going
to
to talk about Mother's Day. How exciting is Mother's Day?
Wow. So tell
I feel
me.
like as soon as you say Mother's Day, people are just going to hit the stop like boring. What do you think about when you think
Boring.
Mother's Day?
Vaginas.
Seriously?
No, I was just
That's
trying to
way
be
more
shocking,
exciting
trying
than
to
a-
shake up this podcast.
Honestly, when I think about Mother's Day, I think about hearts and about flowers and about,
Nah.
you know, like the picture gets like really soft around the edges, like when there's a romance scene in a soap opera.
Okay,
You know,
I
like
can-
that's what I think about with Mother's Day and like breakfast in beds and just like
Right.
really sweet and nice. And it's just like,
I think about having to do something. I think about, okay, something's coming up and I need to buy a gift for.
really? That's all you think about?
No, and
You don't actually like stop and ponder why you're
on the
celebrating
day
your mom.
of, yeah, it's like, yeah, of course. But leading up to it, it's like, I got to do something.
Right.
You know, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be caught with my
Pants down, basically.
Pants down. I was gonna combine hand in the cookie jar and pants down.
Pants in the cookie jar.
But yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. So tell me, what's the difference between Mother's Day last year and Mother's Day this year? Would you say you understand motherhood more now?
Yeah. Totally.
Or
I was just so fresh last year. Like last year, Forrest was 3 months old by the time Mother's Day came around. So I'd only been a mom for that long. And I mean, this baby grows so quickly and changes so quickly. So there's just like, I've gone through, I don't know, 5 times more than what I had gone through last year.
Right. And you can remember, you could remember life before baby back then.
Yeah.
Right. You could have a clear idea of like, oh, couple months ago I didn't have this this thing attached to me 24/7. Now to try to imagine that it's so foggy. It's like trying to remember a dream, trying to remember. And it's interesting because to see all of our childless friends and their continued lifestyle seems odd. When it's just like weekend warrior stuff, when it's just like, I stayed up till 4 a.m. It's like, what? And you didn't have to get up 2 hours after?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's just not worth it staying up late anymore.
No. And then, hangovers are just like always the worst because you can't just be hungover and watch TV or even like just go for a late brunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, my new perspective though, I mean, from between last year and this year, but overall just now being a mom with more context, going into Mother's Day, I'm like, oh man. Okay, first of all, I, over the past year, have developed way more appreciation for what my mom did with 5 kids. 5 kids?
That's too many kids.
Insane.
It's way too many kids.
Oh my gosh. No wonder there was giant piles of laundry in the laundry room. No wonder we had a huge laundry room.
Wow. I couldn't...
Crazy.
And you had a huge house too. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we had a huge house, huge yard. It was super cool. We got to do all kinds of playing. And I don't remember mom being celebrated as much as she should have, because now knowing how much work goes into it.
Yeah.
I just like honestly can't even. The thing is that I really appreciate now is moms doing all of this work. They're juggling like 25 balls in the air at once. And yet they still need to be patient and loving. And just like when you're going through something because you're a kid or you're a baby and you don't know how to wrap your head around this thing and you're really emotional, your mom needs to just drop everything and be there with you and be present and be like, what's going on? And try and get on your level, you know? And that's a real feat. So like applauds to all moms.
Way to go, moms. Applauds to all the moms. We're doing great at talking today.
Yeah, I'm talking really well today.
Yeah.
But also, so thinking about that and going into Mother's Day now, the way that I used to think of Mother's Day as like this whole, especially thinking about being a mom one day and what Mother's Day would be like now I'm sitting on a throne for a day and my feet are getting done and everybody's waiting on me. And this is so, this is nice. I'm celebrated mom, but it doesn't feel like that. That day doesn't sound appealing to me. I mean, it kind of does. Like I would love to have a little bit of time to myself and, get pampered a little bit type of thing. But to me, Mother's Day, the significance is stopping for a second and recognizing what I have become and how freaking incredible it is that I actually am doing all of this just for myself, for me to look at myself and be like, look what you've done.
Right.
Like the amount of,
proud of yourself.
Yeah, I'm proud of myself.
Oh, good.
And to celebrate, but also I'm proud of my body because the things that my body can do, I never knew I could do.
Right.
And I'm proud of my overall capacity as a human that I didn't realize I was capable of becoming. And so to me, Mother's Day is a day to stop and recognize what it is that I have done and be proud of myself for it and celebrate this new mom life that I have.
Cool. So you're taking it upon yourself to bring celebration into your life.
Yeah. Just like meditate on being a mom and being like,
yeah.
F yeah.
I feel like we get caught up in the whole commercialized aspect of it where it's just like buy flowers. It's about this. It's about going and spoiling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Go put money into the system, man.
Yeah.
Of course, it's just you just gotta look at the meaning of it all.
Yeah.
Look at the growth.
I think definitely like moms deserve to be celebrated and recognized because let's face it, there is still a crazy epidemic of women who are underappreciated for all of this stuff.
Epidemic?
For real.
Is that the right word?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's an epidemic.
It's a strong word.
But for real, because just in this one mom group that I'm a part of on Facebook of like very progressive, modern, enlightened, working, not all working, but you don't have to be working in order to be enlightened and progressive as a mom. But they're all, just like moms that I respect. And on this Facebook group of about, I don't know, like 150 women or something, there was a post being like, one of the women were like, tell me what you've got on your plate right now. And all of these responses for moms, it kind of went down this rabbit hole of like the moms talking about how everything is on their plate. Everything to do with baby or kid was on them. And their partner was oblivious to it. They didn't have any hand in all of the administration and all of the moving parts that are going on with the kid. The extras that the kid brought into the mix, the partner is not really a part of, or at least the share is extremely.
So what you're saying is Mother's Day is more important than Father's Day. If we're weighing, because this sounds like we're weighing it now. Now we're going into comparative territory now.
Well, you know what? I mean, they shouldn't have put Mother's Day and Father's Day just a month apart because it's just so hard not to compare.
Yeah, true. But that's what you're saying.
No, it's not what I'm saying. You do love to compare things and take it and make
that's
it
what
like
you're saying. All of a sudden became
it's not a competition
about the other parent not taking on nearly as much.
I know. I can understand why you're getting defensive because you don't know where I'm going with this yet. I think that's my drink, actually, my darling.
You had a drink of mine.
What? Oh, sure, that's fine. If that's what it was, that's fine.
That's
what it made me think about reading all of this. At first, I was like, man. Why is this across the board? This is, so oppressive on women, and why is it always falling on the mom to be doing all of the things, like always keeping track of, it's all the emotional labor, or mental labor, as I prefer to call it, of, knowing when the laundry needs to get done and knowing what's in the fridge and what needs to be made, and all of the appointments that need to be made, and taking care of the car and getting the tires done, and all of these moving parts that are just a lot of stuff. And all of these women are giving these accounts. But then I was like, we're not all just like oppressed victims here. There's got to be something more to this. I definitely prefer not to just feel like, oh, I've got it so bad. I like my life and it's hard. And I know your life is hard also. And we try and share the load as much as possible, but our lives are very different from each other.
And let's be honest, you can handle more than I can.
I think honestly,
like
biologically, women are a little more equipped to handle this shit than men are. Yeah. Just going to put that out there.
That's super controversial thing to say.
You think so?
These days. Maybe. Well, because it's like...
Let's just talk from our own opinions.
Okay, sure. I agree. I mean, I'm afraid to sound like I'm copping out or I'm gender stereotyping or whatever, because there's a belief that everybody is a blank slate and it's culture that shapes us.
Right.
Whereas...
I think there's definitely biological influence. You look at any animals on the planet and there's biological influence.
Yeah. Like fun fact is, that long distance swimmers are almost always women. The best long distance swimmers is because of they have a higher
buoyancy?
Buoyancy because of the extra fat. Oh, women tend. I know that sounds bad, but on the hips and
doesn't
stuff.
sound bad to me.
And they can
biology, man. Yeah. Why do we get touchy about biology?
I don't know. It's weird. It's interesting talking, like going to a stand-up comedy recently to open mic, and so many male comics were like, I don't know if I should say this. They were all just like, and it wasn't even that edgy. They're like, I'm ending my career tonight, and you just talk.
It was just this is. I feel like that's just a
people
tactic.
Are afraid. It is a tactic.
It's a tactic to just like become more likable.
Yeah.
But so talking about this whole, biology influencing how we do things, I definitely don't think that there's a lot of societal influence still on what the gender division is in the parenting world, for sure.
Right.
I think we're doing pretty good as far as,
you think so?
combating societal influences. I mean, I've mentioned before that I've felt the gender oppression for sure.
Right.
I think it's habits that we fall into because of what we've seen our parents do.
And I feel, I don't know. I don't know how to react when you do that kind of stuff. When you feel that way. I don't know how, because it doesn't feel intentional. It doesn't feel, I'm like, woman, get in your place, get in the kitchen, do it. Like I don't know. And
I think we just always need to seek to be compassionate to each other's situation and really try and get into each other's roles and sit in each other's chair so that we can understand. Because for sure, like you've got your own stresses and your own, just your way of life. You can be really easily distracted or like distracted. Maybe I shouldn't say distracted. You get tunnel vision on one thing and it's hard to get your attention back to other things. And so maybe, the how you say you squirrel in the cupboards.
Yeah.
You do that not just with food. You do it with other things too. Yeah. You leave cupboards open, you leave things out.
Oh my gosh.
I have to like remind you, like, Johnny, I don't know if you know, but you left this out.
Yeah, well, you know what? You don't mop the floors. Ever. You've never mopped the floors.
I'm not trying to call you out.
I've mopped the floors many times.
I know. You're really good at it.
You've never done it once.
I have to say, when you get into your cleaning mode, you're way better at You're way more effective than I am, for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I was being attacked right there.
No. See, you cut me off before I actually finished making my point because you get really defensive.
Okay.
And now I don't remember what my point was because you cut me off.
Oh, so it must not have been a strong point. So the emphasis was on the fact that
Johnny, why are you trying to make this into a fight?
No, I'm not.
But no,
just sensitive.
Yeah,
just sensitive.
I'm sorry. What I was trying to say actually is that your experience is valid. Your feelings are valid. And so when I'm feeling my valid feelings, I still need to try and come back around to sit in your chair to see where your valid feelings are coming from so that we can try and find some space in the middle to exist together and to understand where each other's coming from so that we don't want to fight, No. We want to get along and we just want
to sleep a little bit longer. That's about it.
And I think that's where, our two circles intersect. That is a hard problem to solve. Is that we just sometimes both have too much on our plate. And so instead of blaming the other person, that like I've had to come to a realization that when I've got a lot going on in my world and it feels like too much, I need to stop for a second and see if your world is too much right now, because otherwise I'm just going to be blaming you for my world being too much, when that's not fair, because we both have our shit that we have to deal with.
Right.
And, we need to share the load.
Yeah.
So I think we're doing okay in the whole like societal gender division in the parental roles.
Yeah,
but then
I just don't think about it.
I think that's probably a common position for many male partners in the parental role thing.
Yeah,
because us moms got a lot of time to think about that.
Yeah. Whereas like when this is interesting though, because we're in a unique situation because you're sacrificing your work to spend more time with our babe. Mm-hmm. You're working 2 days a week. And so you do just have more time with Forrest, and you do have more time to build those routines and all that kind of stuff.
Totally.
So it is just naturally falling on your plate. And even when I get full days or more time with Forrest, and like this evening is just like I hit a groove and it was fine. I think I would be able to do it if the opportunity arose to be just a stay-at-home dad. I could totally do it.
Yeah. I totally think you could too.
Also, I know, where did I hear this once, that just like laziness, like so many inventors, so many great things that we have now come out of laziness, because it's just like people that are problem solving to make things a little bit easier for them. Mm-hmm. And I do that. like for instance, I had the headphones in and I was listening to podcasts and I was putting down Forest way before you did. And it's like, I remember telling you about that and you're like, oh, that's like, it's like a little bit of a
Tell me this concept again that you're talking about, like the concept of...
Oh, just like doing problem solving, just being like, this is too hard for me. So I'm going to try to find like a little bit easier way to do this.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Constantly.
I'm terrible with that.
Yeah.
Like I just strong arm. I'm the type of person that I have this vision of like, if it's like terrible terrain and I'm trudging through like knee deep mud with like vines in my way, I'm just like, I can friggin' do this. And I'm just gonna like trundle forward and just
trundle.
Yeah, I think that's probably the wrong
forward.
That's probably the wrong word. I'm gonna trudge forward and I'm just gonna like power through because this isn't gonna break me, you know.
Right.
But like I might not look around very hard to find the easier way.
Right. Yeah, totally.
What I mean?
Whereas
I hate that about myself, but it's really true
like,
about me.
Oh, how can I get around this?
You're clever. You're clever and manipulative. Manipulative's not always a bad thing. I know because it can be, but I'm bad at being manipulative. Like I said, I strong arm things too much, or
you just give so much of your attention to Forrest that it exhausts you. Whereas sometimes, you will not entertain him with TV or anything, and I probably would have done that by now. If I were in your position, to be perfectly honest. And I don't think that's a bad thing. And we have high standards that, like, I must say are very much held by you. Like the potty thing, you totally champion that.
Have we never talked about that on this podcast?
No.
Oh yeah, have we?
We must have. We hold Forrest over the potty whenever he needs to poo or pee. And it's amazing, and it took a lot of dedication.
We started at like, what, 1 month?
Yeah, you did. And I just like, I hated doing it at first.
You didn't do it.
I didn't do it. But then when you were like, you have to do this, and I was like, fine.
I feel like now that you finally see that he enjoys
Better than changing poop out of a cloth diaper.
Yeah,
I must say.
is.
But then that's another thing too, having a cloth diaper.
Oh yeah, we did cloth diapers as well, which was a whole nother endeavor.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess you're right. I mean, we do have these high standards.
Your standards for life in general, I think. With a side,
is I strong arm it. I'm just like, I'll do it, and I don't take the easy way out. But sometimes it's really to a detriment.
Yeah. So which means like maybe prioritizing or like strategizing with the try to make things a little bit more efficient isn't a priority.
Right.
Doesn't mean you don't do a great job at everything. It just means that
I'm really scatterbrained.
Maybe you're not taking a step back and then looking at the easier way.
Yeah, my strategy is lacking.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just like how many times I find a way to just like really easily make Forrest rock to sleep without sacrificing my body. Like I found a really great technique when I was bouncing on him on the ball today, just like leaning my back against the wall and propping my feet up against the bed, and it just like straightened out my back a little bit more. And I was able to still get a bounce out of it. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It was great. Put him right down.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm to like unpack a little bit why I don't do it is because I'm afraid of risking it. I'm afraid of trying things and it failing.
Well, that's not. You're just afraid of. It's just you're afraid of failure.
Yeah, basically. I'm afraid that like, especially when it comes to trying new things with Forrest.
But failure is so good. Failure is such a good thing. But doing something wrong and then reevaluating what went wrong, that's how you can just like totally do a good job next time. It's like if you're putting so much on the line for this one moment, it's like everything's at stake. It doesn't have to. Like you should be allowed to make mistakes.
Yeah, I in a lot of parts of life that's true, but I feel like with Forrest, I mean,
I think
inevitably
it is true with kids. I think it really is true with kids. Like you can make a little mistake.
Okay, but no, for sure. In the ways that you're thinking, I agree with you. But what I'm talking about is when I try new things that don't go well, and now we're like in the middle of a store very far away from home, and he's screaming, crying, and like I thought he was going to nap here, but now he's not. And I'm not having the good time that I thought I was going to have. And all of these things, it's like a whole wasn't worth it. Can't see how this would have actually worked now that I think about it. Shouldn't have done it.
Right.
that I've had many experiences, because as a parent, you do just have to try new things all the time.
Right.
And I've had that experience many times.
I can't speak to that because you've been living that life.
Yeah. But you know what? The problem is I think I probably count those too much. Like, I don't literally count them, but those experiences have quite an effect on me, because I'm very sensitive to negative situations or to like painful situations. You know what I'm sensitive to? I'm really, really sensitive to alarms and crying.
You hate alarms.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I realized the correlation between the two of those, though. Like, ever since I was a kid.
Even like the oven is done.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Ever since I was a kid, if a timer went... No, I don't.
She loses her mind.
Yes, no. I lose my mind, and I
But you
walk
do panic
calmly.
a little bit.
I don't panic. I just, like... It's a prompt,
remember you
and
panicking.
I take care of it right away.
I remember you just being like, okay, turn off the alarm.
What?
When we first got together, I remember and being like, oh, this is a thing
Seriously?
about you. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, ever since I was a kid. And then your mom told me that too. It's like, oh, yeah, she's very sensitive to alarms.
Yeah,
and
now
your whole family.
I really have it under control. Now the oven alarm goes off, and I just calmly walk to and I don't, my heart rate doesn't go up. I just, it's just something I need to take care of. It's just like, oh, I need to pee, so I'm going to go now. It's like, oh, the oven alarm went off, so I'm going to turn it off now. But it's prompt. I do it promptly.
I do remember you getting, when we first got together, just like it totally scrambled you when the alarm got off, and you had to take care of it.
Looking back, actually, I'm a lot less scrambly than I used to be. Like, at that time that you met me, I was very scrambly. I really was.
A little bit scrambly.
Frazzle. Yeah, for sure.
Bit frizzle-frazzled.
Man, but when I was a kid, when alarms would go off, I would, mommy, I'd freak out. But it was also one of those like oven buzzers that were just like, bzzz, like really a terrible sound.
Right.
But when I was a kid also, using the vacuum,
oh yeah,
it would like suck up a piece of the carpet and start to go like, and I would freak out. So I was actually afraid of vacuums for a while. Oh, it's really weird to talk about this because I don't think of myself as a fearful person at all. But
you're afraid of vacuums?
Yeah, the really loud vacuums.
Huh.
Yeah, they freaked me out. Like as soon as it would go, like the power head would go over something and it'd start to go like, yeah, it freaked me out.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I had bad experiences. So yeah, with timers and vacuums and babies crying.
I didn't know about
it. Really gets to me. So, but my point of talking about all of this is that Forrest crying incessantly really rattles me. And I've realized, I think it rattles me probably more than other people, because we were out the other day with Forrest, and there was a mom walking by with a baby in a stroller.
Oh, yeah. And she was
the
just
baby
fine.
was probably like 6 months or something, and the baby was just freaking out, crying.
Right.
And she's just calmly walking, and I looked at her, and I was just like, if that was me, I would be sweating, and I would be walking so fast, just trying to and being like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. I know. Oh, it's hard, isn't it? And I just would be trying to like talk him through it, and I freak out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same kind of thing as with the oven timer and with the vacuum. There's something to do with like that like aggressive
panic
energy.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm very affected by it.
Not as much anymore?
You mean like the oven timers and stuff? Yeah, not as much anymore.
Or vacuums? No,
I'm fine. Well, we got a sweet ass Dyson vacuum.
We got
now.
a great vacuum. Quiet, wireless. It's quiet. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I highly recommend.
We love our Dyson.
This is our
this podcast is brought to you by Dyson. Yeah, but no, baby's crying. I have a hard time keeping my cool. So, but on Mom's Day is coming up. What's your earliest memory of your mom?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard to...
I'll go first.
I don't have one.
So I don't know if this is like my earliest memory of my mom, but it is a very early memory, and it's not really anything... No, it is pretty specific, actually. Lying in my parents' bed, and the lamp that they had next to the bed was like this like maroon lampshade, and it was really this comforting glow that was in that room that I loved being in my parents' bed when their lamp was on, because I wanted to sleep with it. Huh. And rubbing my mom's fingers as I fell asleep. So that was a thing that I did for some reason. It was like I had to like rub each one of her fingers before I went to sleep. And I remember lying in my mom's bed and doing that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was nice. And
nice.
The feeling was very comforting, and that was like the place to make me feel most secure.
That's great. I don't know if this is my earliest memory, but I remember just going into my parents' room and knocking on the door and be like, I can't sleep. And they're like, Mom's like, just close your eyes and just try to sleep. And then I was like, oh, okay.
Aww.
So boring. Okay, what about this one? No, it's hard to say because I think of a memory, but then I'm like, no, that's just an old family video that I saw of myself.
Totally. We make those
when the
in
memory,
memories.
yeah. Okay, this is a memory. It's Valentine's Day, and I dressed up our teacher. I think it was grade 1, so 6, and the teacher dressed us up in a big heart. I walked home from school, and I was like a heart. I knocked on the door, and we had worked really hard to memorize a poem. And I started saying the poem, and then I forgot the words halfway through, and then Mom just started like finishing the poem for me, prompting me, and I was like, "What? How do you know the words?"
What?
And it was stapled on the front of my. And there's like, that's a genius idea for the teacher to do that.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it was great. And I remember having tea parties with my mom on Valentine's Day. That was a big thing. Always a tea party.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. And then, I need to just sit about this. Wish you told me earlier.
Yeah,
that you're going to ask me.
Well, something I wanted to talk about actually with regards to moms and Mother's Day is, remember the song I wrote for my mom?
Yeah.
So I wanted to tell the story about that.
Yeah, go for it. It's a good story.
Because a few years back, before we had a baby, before we got married, yes. Because I wasn't pregnant when I wrote this song.
Right.
So,
I think it was that summer though. No, maybe it was the summer before.
Yeah, before we got married. So I wasn't with my mom on Mother's Day. We were with Johnny's mom in Kelowna. So I wrote my mom a song, and it was just like a really sweet on the ukulele, really simple. And I wrote it for her. I recorded it on YouTube and sent it to her, and my mom was really happy, and it was sweet. It was, I felt like I managed to communicate to my mom that she was important to me on Mother's Day when I couldn't be there with her. So that was nice. And then a long time afterwards, our friend Ricky, who has all this audio recording equipment, wanted to practice with it. And he was like, do you have any songs that you want to record? So I was like, for some reason, out of all of my songs, I chose this like little ditty that I wrote for my mom. Right. And we recorded it. And then it was probably like a year later from when he and I had recorded this song. I was, as far as he knew, I was pregnant and close to having a baby, but I still had like a week or two to go. And he all of a sudden came across this song that he recorded and decided to send it to me. But what actually happened was I had just had Forrest. I had just given birth to Forrest. And this was like probably 12 hours later that he sent this song called like My Mama. And I got this song, and I'm holding my 12-hour-old baby listening to this song that I wrote, that I'm singing, that I sang for my mom, but listening to it with the ears of my newborn baby.
Oh, wow.
And it was such a profound experience. It was so emotional because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a mama.
But it's so funny though, because like as soon as you have a kid, it's weird because you don't feel like a parent yet because you haven't really done any parenting. You're just like, oh, it's the very beginning. Now I feel like a year and a bit after, I feel like, okay, I kind of get it. I get what being parenting is. It's
totally. But it wasn't.
It's really about suffering. It's learning how to suffer.
I think that's one aspect of it for sure. But to me, listening to that song was like the concept that I was going to mean that to a human being.
Right.
Was so mind blowing.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy.
I'm going to put that song in this podcast.
Oh, that's good. Do it.
Or should I play it?
I think it'd be special to play the version that you recorded.
Yeah, that I listened to.
As you talked about it. Yeah. Are you going to do that now?
Yeah. Totally.
It's been an hour.
Yeah, it's been an hour. I'm happy with this conversation. I'm excited to meditate on being a mom this Sunday. That's wonderful. Exciting with my little baby boy. Nothing is really going to be different about the day except for the fact that it's a great time to think about that. Think about, for the people who have moms and who are or who are partners to moms, it's a great time to just like contemplate what they do and what they mean to you.
Right.
And to just like really appreciate, and also just take a little bit of a load off of them, because moms pretty much always have a lot on their plate when their kids are still in the house.
But when they get out of the house, they just want their kids back.
I know, right? And then if you are a mom, just like really stop and think about what you have done, and not in a bad way, but in a really good way.
Yeah. And drop some hints to your partners about things you would like.
I wouldn't recommend that.
You wouldn't recommend
What,
that?
you want hints?
Sure.
Of what I would like?
Yeah.
Oh.
I give you hints all the time for as I think of them. It's
You're
like,
great. Yeah, you sent me a link to some nice shirts today.
Yeah, but then I was like, those are expensive. And the shirt sizes. But I do, because it's so hard for me to think of anything. And it's...
But I thought we weren't doing I thought you didn't really want to do gifts for Mother's Day anyway. I could tell you I need a silver chain. I need a beautiful silver chain.
You need one.
A need. It's an absolute need. I probably will die in a few weeks if I don't get one.
It's like a relic. You need to put curse on it.
Yeah. But for moms, I think on Mother's Day, think about how cool it is that you are doing what you're doing, and that you have transformed into a different person since you became a mom, and it's really freaking cool.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Moms are great.
Anyway, I'm going to leave you with this song that I wrote a few years ago and played for my mom. And I think that...
And Forrest loves it when you sing
now
it.
Forrest really, really loves. And I just want to say, the part where I say she's beautiful and kind, it feels really weird when I sing it to Forrest. Yes, because I know that I'm singing to him about me. And I'm saying that I'm beautiful and kind. But
which you are.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. But I'm pretty sure every single kid ever thought their mom was beautiful and kind when they were kids. So it's accurate.
Even if your mom's the worst.
Yeah. Even if your mom's the worst, you still absolutely adored her when you were a kid and thought she was beautiful and kind. So you just, as a mom, you are beautiful and kind to your kids.
And if you're grown up, try to tap into that child. When you thought your mom was that, just try to, now that you're kind of see eye to eye with your mom as more of like peers, try to tap into that age when your mom could do anything.
Yeah, that's sweet. Okay, well,
I'm fading fast. I'm so tired. Can you hear it? I've been yawning off mic so much.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yawing.
Love you.
Love you too. Talk to you next week.
Yep. Mama, the one who brought me here, whispered in my ear, told me not to fear, she can cure me with her smile. That's my mama. Mama, she's beautiful and kind. She'll always take the time to hear what's on my mind, and she knows just what to say. She can make it all okay. That's my mama. She's the keeper of my memories. She cherishes all my idiosyncrasies, and I know she always cares. That's my mama. That's my mama. That's my mama. That was this week's episode of Merriment. If you liked what you heard, why don't you share it with your mom or partner? It'll seem super thoughtful, and you didn't really have to do any work at all. It works. We always love to hear your feedback and comments, so find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram through our website, carlyandjohnny.com. Have a happy Mother's Day, and we'll talk to you next week.